Instructions on onboard facilities. The gas cabinet. If you want to connect a new bottle, make sure to disconnect the empty one and close the valve. Only then you can open the new bottle and valve. Most boats are provided with 2 bottles of propane gas. At least 1 full bottle is included in the rental fee. The cooker feeds on propane gas and is hermetically sealed and protected. First press the button, then turn it and light the gas. Keep the button pressed for 8 seconds and then release it to keep the flame burning. Be careful when cooking in direct sunlight because the propane flame may be difficult to see. When you turn off the hob, make sure the flame is actually extinguished. Use the same procedure for the oven. Never keep your face close to the geyser when switching it on or opening the hot water valves. The geyser may be blown out by a gust of wind and will go out when the gas bottle is empty. Boats without a geyser have an onboard boiler. Know that the boiler does not begin to produce hot water until 1 hour after the engine has been switched on. You won't actually need to sail to get the boiler working. It's enough if you let the engine idle. Heating. Diesel, Eberspicher or gas, Traumatic. The heating system must be switched off at night. In the case of normal use, the onboard supply of water will last approximately 3 days. To fill up on water, unscrew the cap with a coin and use a hose to fill the tank until it overflows. Only use the anchor in an emergency or when the engine breaks down. Lift the chain and allow the anchor to drop freely to the bottom. When raising the anchor, pull it up with the chain until it can go no further. Then secure the chain by clicking it in its position, but mind your fingers. Winch. This device works according to a slightly different principle. Unlock and then veer out. To raise the anchor, fix the boat and then winch the anchor slowly. Take care to prevent damage. Ease the anchor into the anchor hole. Indoor navigation section. The click that you hear when pushing the accelerator handle forward indicates that the reverse clutch has been activated. The more you push the handle forward, the more you accelerate. To stop, move the handle back to its neutral position and then push it further backwards or down. When you're in port, we recommend that you hook up to the 220-volt fixed electricity network using the cable on board. When taking out the CE plug, press down the little blue handle. Control panel. Always turn off the main switch before leaving the boat. You don't need to turn off the switches for the indoor lighting system because the lamps are controlled by direct switches. The refrigerator is small and offers relatively little storage space, so we advise you not to stock up on meat and other foodstuffs for an entire week, but to buy limited quantities. Note moreover that in most boats the refrigerator needs to be switched off after 12 hours in order to save battery capacity. The shaving socket is only suitable for regular electric razors up to 20 watt. The additional switch is used to operate the windscreen wiper. Dining section. Raise the tabletop, fold the leg against the top and place the top between the settees. You can use the back cushions as a mattress. Toilet. After use, pull the small handle next to the pump forward and pump 15 to 20 times in order to flush the toilet. Place the handle in its original position and drain the toilet. Attention! Do not use too much toilet paper and never try to flush down any objects. The costs of unclogging toilet pipes are for your own account. Shower. The used water is collected in a tray with a pump and a float switch. The tray is emptied automatically. If not, check whether the filter is clogged. If you cannot solve the problem on your own, please contact Friesland Boating. Curtains. The curtains for the front and back doors and the windows can be found in the cupboard next to the front door. Engine. Don't forget to check the oil level every day before starting the engine. Take the oil level gauge out of the engine, and if the oil level is under the minimum mark, you will have to fill up the oil tank. Unscrew the filler cap using the supplied open end wrench. You will find a supply of fresh oil in the reserve tank. If the engine seems to lose oil, or if you find a lot of water in the engine room, make sure to contact us. Settling hatch. If anything gets stuck in the screw, you should first try to remove it through the settling hatch. Make sure to carefully fix the rubber under the hatch afterwards to prevent water from seeping through. Some of our boats are provided with a settling tank, which you will need to clean at least once a week. To that end, lock the valve, open the lid, clean the filter in the water outside the boat, reinsert it, carefully place the washer in its position, and then place the lid straight on the opening and tighten it with your hands. Don't forget to reopen the valve. Outdoor navigation section. If you want to use the outdoor navigation system, make sure to place the accelerator of the indoor system in its neutral position and then turn the steering handle 90 degrees. The steering handle allows you to use the steering wheels of the indoor and outdoor sections. Meters. The revolution counter indicates your speed, which depends on the type of ship and engine. The control panel also includes a thermometer and an oil pressure gauge. If any of the indicator lamps light up when you're sailing, turn off the engine immediately. Sometimes the ampere lamp lights up when you start the engine. It should go out again when you slightly accelerate from neutral position. To that end, press the red or yellow button on the accelerator. Convertible roof. The FB 1050 Zape is the only model in our fleet with a convertible roof. Once you have pulled the roof back, fix the strap to the eyelet of the railing on the stern. Carefully pull a taut to make the push buttons click. The sides can be opened. Roll up the flaps carefully and fix them with the straps. When you want to fold up the roof, follow the reverse procedure. Make sure that all push buttons have been undone to prevent the canvas from tearing. Take care when folding or unfolding the roof and make sure that you know exactly what procedure to follow. If your route includes fixed bridges with limited headroom, lower the mast to prevent serious damage. When there is not much headroom, lower the windshields carefully and in the proper order, making sure you don't lose the fastening pins. To expand the windshields afterwards, follow the reverse procedure. Bow screw. When you press the switch to the right, the bow will move to starboard. When you press the switch to the left, the bow will move to port. In plain English, left means left and right means right. Only use the bow screw for mooring and unmooring or to keep the boat in position in front of a bridge. Never use the bow screw for longer than 20 seconds. Some of our boats have a standard television set. The knot commonly used to unmoor the boat is the figure of 8 stopper, which, not surprisingly, is made by tying a knot in the shape of an 8. Lay the last loop in a circular motion to tighten the knot. Repeat 2 to 3 times. When mooring and unmooring, there should always be enough people on board. fore and aft. You can moor the boat anywhere, except in reed and in places where mooring is prohibited. Prior to sailing, make clear arrangements about who is to be the skipper and who is responsible for signaling that ropes are to be fixed or undone. Always keep the engine running while fixing or undoing the ropes. You may not switch off the engine until you have securely fastened the boat. The person on the boat should assemble the ropes for mooring. The skipper should always try to moor the vessel parallel to the shore or jetty. Use the reverse gear as the brake by jolting it briefly. First place the mooring rope loosely around the bollard on the shore to allow the skipper to secure the aft. Once the boat is in a safe position alongside the jetty or quay, you can secure the ropes definitively. Mooring and unmooring on the lee shore. Lee shore, that's a shore or bank that wind and waves are moving to. In this particular example, the wind is blowing from the port side. Position the boat parallel to where you want to moor. Allow the ship to move to leeward, in other words, to be drifted by the wind to the lee shore. If the wind is at an angle to the shore, first fix the spring or hawser to the side where the wind is coming from. Whether you should use the fore or aft spring depends on the force of the wind. Wind side. Wind blowing from starboard. Also the shore or bank that wind and waves are coming from. In this particular example, the wind is blowing from the starboard side. Moor at an angle with spring, depending on the shape of the boat, and move aft towards the shore. Use the wind and or spring to freely maneuver the boat away from the shore and sail off. Along the quay, sailing off straight on. Headwind, moor on forespring. Before the wind, moor on aft half-spring. In the case of a headwind, maintain the aft spring, move backward, freely maneuver the head of the boat away from the shore and sail off. If the wind is coming from behind, maintain the forespring, move forward, turn the stern away from the shore and sail backwards. Mooring independently in case of an emergency. Fortunately, incidents are rare, yet they cannot be ruled out. In the case of an emergency, you should be able to moor the vessel on your own. The procedure is as follows. First, secure the stern. Steer the boat in a position parallel to the shore. Finally, secure the fore. In these cases, you should always remain on board with the rope. We wish you a pleasant voyage from Koudum or Friesland.